So once a year, in every parish church in our diocese, we have what we call the mission co-op, where we have someone from a society that's doing mission work at home or abroad, and we're able to support them. And last year we had the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament, the sisters founded by our patroness, St. Catherine Drexel, and to support all the missions that she founded here and in Canada. And we asked if it would be possible to have Sister Patricia Downs back again so we could support St. Catherine Drexel's mission, and they said yes. So we're delighted to have Sister Patricia back with us again to represent. She is a Sister of the Blessed Sacrament, the order founded by our patroness. So welcome back home. All right.
It really is being back home. When I came into church yesterday and saw the statue, the same statue we have at our mother house. And it really, and the enthusiasm in this parish with your singing and your friendliness is just a great pleasure. And that's what Eucharist is all about. Today, of the readings that have been chosen by our church are so appropriate for me in so many ways. And both in the first reading and in the Gospel, we hear how there's plenty for everyone. And it really was the 10 barley loaves with some leftovers that fed over 100 people. And we see in the Gospel Jesus' great love for his people when the fish and the loaves, were presented to him and he was able to bless them. And because of the blessing, there were 12 baskets left over. And for the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament, those are tremendous images for us as we continue the work of the Catholic Church, the mission of Jesus Christ, to bring his love and his great care for all of us that is shown by our energy that we have one for another. And as Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament, we do continue the work of St. Catherine Drexel. We have our wonderful National Shrine, which some of you have visited a few years ago. We continue in that great ministry of offering a sacred, secure, hospitable place for God's people who come in great need. They come in gratitude as well as a great desire for a blessing from our God, for special problems or suffering in their life. We also continue with our ministries in the Navajo Reservation. We continue our ministry in Haiti, where I lived for 12 years, and where we continue to support financially. And Sister Donna and I continue to go back there. And that also is a ministry where God's people, where we feed over 1,500 people a day in our schools and our programs for the elderly and for the children. And again, it's the sharing that we receive from others that allows us to continue that great gift of sharing with each other. And when I was going to come here, I was supposed to come on Friday. I'm going to tell you a little personal story because I sincerely believe that Jesus' great love for us is shown every day of our lives. I want to do that to others, and others do that to me. Because the Gospels that happened so many years ago are for today. It's not history, but it's what we must live out every minute of our lives, wherever we are. Now I grew up in Troy, New York. It's a small little, used to be called when I was in school, almost 100 years ago. It was the Cholera Center of the United States. That was our big gift to the United States. And then, all my ministries have been in small rural areas. Well, anyhow, I got to Philadelphia, the airport on Friday, to come here on Friday afternoon, and the plane didn't leave the Philly airport. I ended up in LaGuardia, and there were 1 million people in LaGuardia in Delta Terminal. I'm telling you, I've never seen so many people in my life except on TV when there's big crowds. And I was told there'd be no more planes out of LaGuardia until 10:30 that night. It was decided I would stay until Saturday. And I got kind of anxious. You know, we think of our immigrant communities, people who travel alone and have no one to help them, especially with a language barrier or a cultural barrier. And I'm born and bred in the United States. I wasn't in an unfamiliar territory, but the crowd and I didn't know what to do. So some woman at gate 11, her name is Barbara O'Reilly. God sent me to her. She was my one solace in a crowd on the mountainside. She was my way of receiving Jesus in a very special way through her kindness. She was able to get me settled in a hotel, got me a safe trip over there. And for 3 hours, I never let her out of my sight while she made these arrangements. And she said to me, I met her Saturday morning in the Delta terminal again, waiting for the Manchester plane. And I spotted her. Now, can you imagine, of all the people in Delta Air Terminal, she appeared again, just like Jesus appears to us, in so many wonderful ways. And I went up to her and I said, Barbara, she said, are you okay? I said, I'm fine. And I hugged her. I said, thank you for your kindness. She said to me, ma'am, you look just like my mother. She said, you were so in such distress. She said, you just remind me of my mother. I said, I'm glad. I didn't care who I reminded her of. At that point, I was just so grateful. But that night in the hotel, I had read the gospel for today. And I was just so grateful for how this one woman touched my heart. And I thought of Mother Catherine, in 1891, when she founded our congregation. She would go on buckboard, on whatever way she had to visit all the missions of the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament. No matter what she did, she didn't just give out. She really was a great woman of austerity, but a great woman of stewardship. She knew that the money she had to share with other people came from God for the use of God's people. And that was a gift her mother and father taught her. Her mother and father were extremely generous to the people of God because they said those gifts were the money that they were able to accumulate was for certainly their needs, but it was to be shared with other people. And Mother Catherine would go on a little canoe. She would go up and down the bayou, made great sacrifices in her willingness to travel in unknown lands, and even in areas where she was not wanted, where she was hated for her energy for Black and Native American peoples. So I tried to connect my heart with her, and I tried to connect my heart, and I did connect my heart in gratitude with Jesus for his great love for us and how he cares for us in ways that we'll never know. And I did tell Barbara O'Reilly I would mention her and ask all of us to pray for people like her. And here in your parish, you have such wonderful outreach programs for others. And I ask you to pray for the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament. We have a website, and if you go on your parish web, you can connect to to catherinedrexel.org, where the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament. That's our website. You'll also see a listing of all the SKD parishes in the United States. And another great celebration we have as people of God and as Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament is our Native American community, who will celebrate on October 21st by the canonization of Catherine Tekakwitha. So that's another great happening in our church, that we have a Native American woman who was if you ever get a chance to read her story, she was a wonderful example of what it means to live under persecution. She was, because of her Catholic belief and her desire to live a faithful to be faithful to her vow of virginity. And she lived in, people in her village wanted her to get married, and she just held firm to her great love for Jesus. She was a great woman of great penance. So I ask you, especially among younger children in your catechetical program, maybe pick up her story. It's a wonderful story. And she's a Mohawk Indian. But we have so much to rejoice in our church. So I ask you to pray for the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament. At this point, we have no vocations, no women in our novitiate. But we do have a great sense of unity with all SKDs, all people who celebrate in the St. Catherine Drexel parishes. We have a great associate program. We have many people who reach out in Jesus' name to kind of imitate the great love that Catherine had for all God's people and bring all people to the Eucharist. So I thank you for your great celebration today, your great enthusiasm in this church. I certainly see it in Father Cole, his celebration of the sacred liturgy, and the choir. And I looked around when you were singing. It's not the choir alone, but the support that you all have and your great, it's just a bundle of energy. It might be, cloudy outside, but in your hearts and in this church, it's full of sun, and it's full of great goodness. So I ask you to pray that we can continue the ministry that Jesus gave us to do. Pray that there will be young women who will answer the call to the religious life, not only the sisters of the Blessed Sacrament, but to the priesthood and consecrated life. And I ask you to please know you're in our prayer, and we'd love to have you come back to Philly sometime and see us. And keep in touch with us by the internet. So God bless, and thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Father, so much. Thank you.
Very welcome. Sister Patricia became a sister of the Blessed Sacrament when she was 18 years old. So she's really given your life. That's marvelous. And we're going to have, in the parish hall after Mass, there'll be coffee and some refreshments and a chance to be with her, to ask her any questions, or just to get to know her. So please come downstairs after. Okay? Please stand now. The Nicene